Well, this happened. Time to enjoy the credits. Hi there, everyone. Your Power Al here with another vlog. So, I just finished doing something that took me a very, very long time to do, and that is beating Bravely Default. It took me a very long time to get around to doing this, but it's done. Bravely Default came out in 2014, so it took me 7 years to beat Bravely Default. It shouldn't have taken that long, honestly, but I did it. And the reason why it took me this long is because I just started playing other games. I was actually right at the end of Bravely Default, and it's been weighing on my mind ever since I stopped playing. I got the game when it first came out. I think it was like February 2014. I even did a vlog about it, and I got like the collector's edition and everything, and I really, really enjoyed what I played. It's just once I got to the chapter 8 boss rush, I can speak. There's a point in chapter 8 of the game where you have to fight all of the, or not all of the bosses, but a good portion of the bosses all at once. And that's where I got stuck. And I got stuck, and then I just put the game off. Ended up getting other games, ended up playing other games, and just had Bravely Default just pushed aside. But it's been weighing on my mind for a very, very long time, and just recently I got back into playing it, like about last week. So what I was doing, like for a good portion of like the time I was playing recently, was I was mastering all of the job classes in the game, because I didn't do that before. And then from there I did like a lot of research, and then I found a setup that worked with me for my characters, and I ran with that setup up until I beat the game. I even beat the super boss earlier today, which was very, very difficult. But just to give some thoughts on Bravely Default, the gameplay is very, very fun. There's 24 different job classes to work with, and they each have like their own like distinct style to them, and you can like mix and match like 2 different job classes together with each character, and that just gives you a lot of customization options. And you could even like have abilities from previous or from other job classes like equipped to a character, so it just gives you a ton of options. And that's one thing I really, really like, just the customization for each of your party members. So that's good. The story, I don't remember much about the story from the first half of the game. I remember enjoying it a lot, but without getting into too much, the last half of the game, how do I put it? The Endless 8 from Haruhi. That's all I'm gonna say about it, but other than that, the gameplay is still really, really good, and it took me a little bit to get back into it and refamiliarize myself, but once I did, I just like came back swinging with everything and just had a ton of fun. So it's a game I can definitely recommend, especially with Bravely Default 2. That's one I actually want to try now, and there's actually a sequel to this game that's not Bravely Default 2 called Bravely Second. So I think at some point I'm going to try that out before I do Bravely Default 2, because Bravely Default 2, from what I know, is its own like continuity, similar to like how the different Final Fantasy games aren't like all interconnected as far as I know. But Bravely Default was a ton of fun. Definitely one of the better RPGs on the DS, but the story leaves a little bit to be desired in my opinion. Now, as for my endgame setup, I guess I'll just go over that a little bit. So you have 4 characters in the game. I'm not gonna like spoil anything like plot worthy. I'm just gonna go with like my setup for everyone. So I had Tiz as a thief slash freelancer. Then Anya's was a black mage and a white mage. Ringabel, who is probably my favorite character in the game, honestly. He was a vampire and a Templar. And then Idio was the salve maker and what else was her other class? Oh, and the monk. Or monk and salve maker was her secondary class. And for each of their skills, they had very similar setups where they had a skill from the Red Mage class where if you were inflicted with a status condition, then your BP would go up because the game goes on like a battle or brave point system, I think it's called, where you use BP to use your moves and you can use multiple BP per turn. But if your BP goes like down, then like in the negatives, then your character can't do anything. So I had each of them had like a BP acceleration skill, and then I would have Anya's continuously poison the entire party because she had a skill that would make it so if you were to cast a spell on a group, either the enemy's group or your group, it would cast on all of them at once. So I would just cast poison on my party multiple times per turn, and then at the very end I would heal that poison, and because I'm casting poison on them multiple times, their BP just goes up, and that just gives me multiple moves per turn. And it worked out really, really well, especially because Tiz, because he was a thief, he had the Godspeed Strike, I think it was called, and then I would just use Mimic on that, so I wouldn't waste as much BP, and it would deal a ton of damage. Really, really fun. And then Ring a Bell would just cast Rampart because of his Templar secondary class, and then I would use the Vampire class to just do other things, mainly to either use one of its genome abilities where you can use like enemy attacks, and then Adia would just deal a ton of damage as a monk. So that was my setup for the very end of the game once I resumed playing, and then I just beat the final boss like not that long ago, like right before this clip really, or this vlog started. So yeah, so it feels good to say that I finally beat Bravely Default, because now I can just put the game away, and who knows, maybe in the future I'll play through it again, but there's other games for me to play. But at least I accomplished one of my goals this year, which was to beat a game that I have in my backlog that I started. So who knows, I might finish another game, maybe. But Bravely Default is really, really long, and I think in total I logged like over 120 hours in the game, and I'd say about 20 of those hours was from like this past week. So yeah, anyways, that's gonna be it for this vlog. So thank you all so much for watching, and give Bravely Default a try if you like JRPGs, or maybe Bravely Default 2, because that's probably improved upon Bravely Default. I don't know, I haven't seen anything about the game, but my interest in it has gone up. But first, Bravely second. Who knows when I'll start that, I don't know, but thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next time for another vlog. Later.